Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawud from GMS, Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, this is going to be a continuation of, a couple parts of these videos I'm putting together on the downfall of Esau, all right? Now, here's a different article about this opioid crisis that's going on. They pretty much follow up on some of the same things that they were saying in the other video I put up. But there's a little bit more stuff in this article as well. All right. So this one here says opioid deaths in U.S. breaks new record. Government data says the first 9 months of 2016 saw a sharp increase of opioid drug overdose in the U.S. compared to the prior year, according to new data by the NCHS. The government struggling to respond to this crisis. All right, we read that in the other article, and I think this is the same that we read in the other article as well. It says the centers attributed to 33,000 deaths in 2015 to opioid drugs included legal prescription painkillers as well as illicit drugs like heroin and street fentanyl. All right, and fentanyl. Not even sure what the hell that is used for, what the hell that even is. But nevertheless, like I was pointing out in the other article I was bringing out, these are drugs that really only so-called white people know about, and only white people can either afford, they know about, they use, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. I just don't, I couldn't see, I'm not saying it's not possible, you know what I'm saying, I'm just saying that I don't see like no junkie ass Jake, you know what I'm saying, scrounging up some money to get some prescription painkillers and shit like that and heroin, you know what I mean. That just sounds, just to me, I don't know. But nevertheless, I mean, as you know, I mean, where I live, I actually, not to say a part of this, but like, this is happening around like where I live at. Like, it actually died down a little bit, but, last year, the year before that, and the year before that, it was like really, really bad here, Everybody was on, they just called them pills. Like, oh, you do pills, you want pills, and blues, and Roxys, and Oxys, and shit like that. But nevertheless, these was always, let me see if they have it in the picture up here. These are always, it was in the other article. These are always, pills like this right here, in this here image right here, This ain't like some shit that, you know what I'm saying, Lil Ray in the basement is putting together and shit. He ain't got no damn grow house in the basement making no shit like this, you see what I'm saying? But, getting back to the article up here, it says, and they have more information showing you a little bit more about, who these people are. They're doing everything but calling it white people. But nevertheless, it says, opioid prescribing continues to fuel the epidemic. Today, nearly half of all U.S. opioid overdose deaths involve a prescription opioid, according to the CDC. All right, so again, this ain't like your little Ray and them in the hood and shit, you know what I'm saying, trapping out the trap house. This ain't no shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Let's lock it, hold tight. I don't know what the hell that is, but something. It's lock it. But nevertheless, I just don't see this in like no, like Jake neighborhood or Jake area where this is popping off at, And really, most Jakes that you see walking around that is bugged out or on some drugs and shit, what do you see? You always see them smoking. All right, they smoking weed. That's all you see them doing. You know what I'm saying? It'd be many a times and many a days. All you Jakes know what it's like when you be in a convenience store and you have a Jake walk up trying to sell you some damn drugs, right? What they always trying to sell you weed. They never trying to sell you like, bruh, I got some heroin, I got some pills. You know what I'm saying? But vice versa, like I said, where I live at, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of these motherfuckers that used to be on these pills like crazy, you know what I'm saying? And the question then was, normally like when you're around a bunch of Jake, like I said, they always asking you if you want to buy some weed or some shit. But, you know what I'm saying, where I live at, you know what I'm saying, when they was going through this real bad, everybody was like, hey man, you got any pills? Anybody with any pills, any blues? You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, man, I got this, I got that, I got some stacks or whatever the fuck they was saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all they was talking about. They walk around like a bunch of zombies and shit drooling off the mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's all that they was into, pills. And it was always Edomites. All right. It was never I can't even remember ever seeing no Jake come up to me asking me about no damn, whether I had some pills or if I wanted to buy some pills. You see what I'm saying? Jake normally is just asking about some damn weed. They'd be like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? We got, matter of fact, I don't know if he was a Jake. He might have been a Jake, like a Puerto Rican Jake, Ephraimite Jake or whatever. But nevertheless, you know, at camp, some dude was walking by. He was like, man, I got that fire, man. I got that fire. Like, you see, whether he was a Jake or not, he didn't try to offer us no goddamn pills. You see what I'm saying? I mean, he wasn't in his right mind. We was in our garments and everything, like, you know what I'm saying? Holding Bibles. Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Even some dumbass like that know better than to ask a Jake like that, because 9 times out of 10, Jake ain't buying no shit like that, you know? These is all Edomites, all right? It says, opioid prescribing continues to fuel the epidemic, all right? And again, further pushing the point that this ain't Jake, man. You just have to think about this. Like, if you put yourself in their shoes, you want to go buy some of these pills, right? Okay, how the fuck can I get some of these pills? Well, where do they come from? They come from, like, the pharmacy type of shit. Well, they come from the scientists in the labs to the pharmacies, all right? And in order to get anything from the pharmacy, you need a damn, a doctor's prescription, all right? Well, now you got, like, Obamacare and shit, but, like, before that, you know, most Jakes didn't have no damn, medical coverage like that. You know, they weren't working types of jobs that offered shit like that, you know? So, we wasn't getting these drugs prescribed to us, you know? That's the so-called cheap way, not even the cheap way, like the only way of getting these shits. Again, you ain't going to Ray Ray house and popping them, you know, homeboy selling them. You know, now you can go get them from the clinic, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, you just flipping and you sell the damn pills your damn self. You know what I'm saying? That's how they hit the street value, but it's not Jake going to the, first of all, Jake keep going to the damn doctor. Hey, I need some more pills. I need some more pills. They had to arrest his ass because he a junkie. All right. They already know Jake and how Jake get down, and they want to blame Jake for any and everything. So you know it's not Jake. All right. And Jake went up into the clinic with a gold grill, tatted up, pants sagging, smelling like a pound of weed and shit. Like, yo, bro, my back hurt. You know what I'm saying? I need some pills. They be like, nigga, you going to jail. You see what I'm saying? You already smell like weed, you know, and we already know what weed do to you. So you ain't hurting, bro. You see what I'm saying? So this ain't Jake we talking about, all right? You just read all the way through the lines with this. This is only Esau doing this shit, all right? And like I said, only opioid prescriber continues to fuel the epidemic. Who is fueling the fire? All right? The same people who fueled the fire in our neighborhoods with the crack epidemic, the crack epidemic in the 70s and 80s. Really, hold up. So-called Negroes went through heroin as well too. All right. So back when what is that? Frank Lucas and them, they were selling heroin. All right. So, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, up until this day, today, you know what I'm saying? This opioid epidemic nowadays is going on is from these Edomites. Let's fast forward. Let's rewind back. Where are they getting the shit from? All right. So how do you make heroin? Heroin comes from opium. All right. Where do you get opium from? It comes from a plant called the poppy plant. All right. Or it's either the poppy seed. No, the poppy plant. Yeah. They cut up the poppy plant. Or where do they have the poppy fields at? In Afghanistan. Well, when the fuck did we go to Afghanistan to get the poppy plants? You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, we went and invaded Afghanistan after September 11th when none of them Afghanistan people had anything to do with September 11th. You know what I'm saying? But you just go and invade their country. For what reason? All right. And when was the timeline of this big spike of heroin epidemic? You know, it happened after they went into Afghanistan. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, your military, first of all, your government is sanctioning the act of going and invading a sovereign country. All right. That's where it starts, with your government. Then you have your military and the people who support the military by letting their sons and daughters go in there and not saying shit about it. They go over there and they fight, die, and get blown the fuck up, protecting these damn, poppy fields out there in Afghanistan, which in turn, they ship the drugs back over here. All right. So your sons and your daughters is getting blown the fuck up over these damn, poppy fields and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then they send the drugs back to mama and daddy at the house, who getting strung the fuck out on these, what do they call these shits? Synthetic heroin pills. What do they call them? Like, Oxycontin, Roxycodone, all these different shits. You know what I'm saying? This is what they making it into, a synthetic heroin. They just making it in the damn laboratory. All right. But nevertheless, from there it's rolling down to who? These doctors, the doctors who's prescribing it, the people up in Big Pharma who's owned by Edomites. All of this atrocity is happening from Edom and is predominantly affecting Edom. All right. So like the scriptures say, reward her double as she rewarded you, you know. Now we're going to do some shit to them. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's funny how, you know what I'm saying, man, how magnificent the Lord is. That's why we call him the Most High. All right. The highest. And man, ain't nobody topping the Most High. He like, look, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, I'm gonna fight your battles for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna let you turn up for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But really, I'm gonna do all this for you so you can sit back and behold the glory of the Most High. All right? All the shit that Esau done did to you, I'm about to bring all these plagues back on him. All right? And just like you see this, you know, the destruction of Esau. All right? Now we know that, you know, the Lord of the chariots and all that, and Jeremiah 51:20 on down, and you know, the countless other scriptures that talk about, you know, the elect running through these damn nations and these heathens, and Esau, and also the chariots running through their ass. We know that they're gonna be destroyed. They're gonna be, how do I say, finished off that way. All right, but it's funny, and it is something to behold, to just see that the Most High is doing all of this stuff right here before your eyes, and you ain't had to touch these Edomites yet. All right, these motherfuckers is dropping like flies left and right from all kind of shit, and they getting their karma back for all the things they did to us. All right, Lord willing, I can pull that article up and do add that to this here this little series of videos about the farmer crisis. All right, these motherfucking farmers is committing suicide like crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? They actually, like, the biggest number of so-called suicides is attributed to that. You know what I'm saying? When they break down the, you know, all the people that commit suicide, you know, they break it down by race. But then when they go into the so-called middle-aged white man, or to just basically the white man, you know what I'm saying, that's committing suicide, the biggest population of the ones that, the Edomites that commit suicide, is the farmers. All right. And that goes into a lot of other stuff. Lord willing, I'll be able to, you know, pull their article up and do a video with that as well. But nevertheless, you know, it's just, like I said, it's just beautiful how all these things are coming to play right here in front of you, and you ain't had to do shit. You know what I'm saying? You had to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Some of the older Jake's older than me. You know what I'm saying? That grew up seeing their parents all strung out on heroin and shit like that. Your mom and your dad shooting up in the hallways and shit like that, and so on and so forth, you know. Or maybe you grew up in that era, you know, or you know what I'm saying, you had to see those struggles and stuff like that, and it was just bothering you, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, coming home seeing your mama is a junkie and shit like that, you know, or your dad is a junkie, or not having shit because you a junkie, you know, or growing up as a crack baby or some shit like that, you know. All these different things going on, and you know, all these different things going on, you know what I'm saying, that Jake had to witness growing up, you know, that's stuck inside of their minds, you know. Like I don't know if it was this video or the other video about me and cocaine, you know. Like a lot of like regular people in my life just be so shocked to know that I've never tried cocaine in my life, you know. And I'm like, well, what? And then I tell them, I'm like, yo, when I grew up where I grew up at in Atlanta, you know, I seen a lot of homeless people. And in Atlanta growing up, it was predominantly so-called black people. So I was at least aware enough that they was my fucking people, you know. But anyway, you know, I mean, I was aware the motherfuckers looking like me, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this could be me. This could be my dad. You know, this could be my son, or some, so on and so forth, you know. But I seen a lot of homeless people and a lot of people strung out on drugs and shit like that. So that already, and I just equated them all, basically all the same, basically, you know, like, well, you know, drugs. You know, that's just how the fuck it is, you know, whatever it is. I don't really give a damn what it is. That's just what it is, you know. But, you know, that was enough, you know, for me, you know what I'm saying, to see that. And I wasn't even a product of, like, you know, my parents wasn't on no shit like that, you know. So I can only imagine if like you had to grow up, you know what I'm saying, coming into the house, seeing your mama all like half conscious, half unconscious, you know, arm tied up with a tourniquet and a fucking syringe hanging out of her arm and a spoon and shit. You know what I'm saying? I could just, damn. You know what I'm saying? When you see that depicted in movies and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a movie, Losing Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if she was on heroin, but the fact of the matter, homegirl putting the baby in the dumpster and shit, you know, just psychologically just trying to evaluate shit like that, you would understand. You'd be like, damn. And it's just beautiful how all the things that we wound up doing as a result of all the oppression we was getting is now falling upon Esau. All right. He can't handle all this shit going on now. Now look what he doing, turning into drugs and shit, you know. And like I said, I got other articles and things like that where I'm gonna tie all of this together, and we're gonna go through these curses that's falling upon Esau. All right. So I'm gonna just continue on with this here article, and then I'll actually go into the scriptures on a whole nother video, or just be the scriptures themselves. But it says a new study published in the American Journal of Preventative Medicine says actual opioid mortality rate changes are on average 22% higher than federal statistics indicate due to information missing from the CDC records. All right. So just like all of Esau's other numbers that he always like to put up and put out there, they always, how do they say, they always like you done fudge the numbers, you know, you didn't, you know, you kind of like fix the books, you know. Now, Esau right here is openly coming out, and it's crazy because, only really the men of the Lord is sighing and crying about shit like this. You're like, how the hell is Esau telling on Esau, but Esau ain't trying to do shit about it? And it's killing you, you dumbass people. It says, a new study, meaning they looked into the shit and found out some shit, but they ain't gonna do nothing about it. It says a new study published by the American Journal of Preventive Medicine says actual opioid mortality rate changes are on average 22% higher than federal statistics indicate. So your federal, what you basically saying is that, okay, you didn't hire a study group to study another study group and found out that the first study group was way the fuck off. All right. Now, what are you going to do about that? You see what I'm saying? You ain't going to do shit about that. You're going to be like, yeah, we're going to post the information, but we ain't going to do shit about it. We're going to just keep looking at them like they're a credible source. All right. Like we can trust any of the things that Esau says all the damn time, man. You can't trust what he say. Never trust thy enemy. All right. How they say, the wicked are estranged from the womb. As soon as he's born, he basically go forth speaking lies. All right. Look, man, Esau is just the damn devil, man. All right. And it's a blessing and a miracle that we get this, that we get to live and see these things happen in our time, man. To see the downfall of our damn enemy. Now he's strung out. Now he a fucking junkie. All right. Normally when like Gucci Mane, some J's at my door. You envisioning so-called black junkies and shit like that. That's what we used to call them in Atlanta. Jays or junkies, a drug addict, But nevertheless, you be like, yo, Jays, you got these so-called Edomite or these so-called white junkies now. You know what I'm saying? These Edomites is walking around looking like junkies. These Edomites that you got to be like, damn, man, this nigga a crackhead about to roll up on me, ask me for 37 cents. Like, nigga, what can you buy for 37 cents? You see what I'm saying? Like, why don't you ask for an actual amount, like $1 or something, But hey, that's what these damn Edomites is coming to, they can't take the pressure, And like I'm getting, one of the lesson I'm gonna do with the scriptures, I just thought about it, actually this is a different one. 2 nations shall be separated from thy womb, 2 manner of people, and one shall be stronger than the other one, And I don't think it's this, it might be this article here, but there's an article, that talks about, no, it's a suicide article I'm gonna bring out. All right. But nevertheless, they say, they attribute all these suicides and shit on Esau from basically, post-traumatic stress, more or less to say, some fucked up shit didn't happen in his life. And now he just can't deal with it, and it'd be like, oh, I lost a job, the economy going down, all these immigrants, that's a great article. You look for that video as well. But, all the things that he claimed is the reason he committing suicide. I'd be like, yo, dog, this the shit that Jake been going through since the fucking moment we got before we got on them boats, all right? Before we got on the boats to come over here, we've been going through all that shit, all right? Talking about the divorce rate. Like, nigga, we didn't get divorced, motherfucker. You was separating the families and selling our ass. The husband from the wife and the kids, all right? You was castrating and mutilating and just genociding, like, every damn body. Not everybody, all the nations of Israel, you was doing all kind of crazy shit and that we had to sit there and look at, or if you read the Willie Lynch letter of how they tied a horse, or they tied a father up by his feet, to 2 different horses, and then they would set, like, hey, I'll say it how they would say it. He said, look, man, what we do, you want to keep your slaves in order and perpetually keep this in order. What you do is you take the nigga woman with her nigga kids and you tie her nigga husband up in front of them. You chain one leg up to one horse on one side of him and his other leg up to another horse on the other side of him. And you light a fire between that nigga. And when them horses feel that heat, they gonna take off in either direction, splitting that nigga in half. Now that nigga ain't gonna die right away, but that nigga gonna scream out with a horrible scream, a scream that his wife, and she gonna be able to feel the pain, and she ain't gonna never want that on her kids, so she gonna do whatever she got to do to keep her kids in order so they don't get master's order, and that's how you perpetuate the things that's going on today in our society with the so-called black mothers coming down on their kids, but nevertheless, all these different things is beautiful that is coming down on Esau, man, because Esau did a number in on us, and like I was saying, with all of that kind of shit going on, we wasn't committing suicide or nothing like that. But now look at Esau losing his job, doing all these things, his wife and shit like that. He want to commit suicide, showing you he's a weaker person mentally. Spiritually, we already know he a weaker person spiritually. He sold his birthright for a morsel of meat. No faith having ass. All right, we went all the way through slavery and still was praying into a goddamn white man. You know what I'm saying? Having faith that he would save us, not even knowing that he was gonna oppress us. That's real faith. We was believing in the wrong shit, but we was heavy in our faith in that. You know what I'm saying? So like, you see what I'm saying? You don't even have faith when you have a real power and you can see your real power in front of you. All right. But you know what I'm saying? We a stronger person on a spiritual level, a physical level, because you see us in the sports world dominating. All right. And then also on a mental level. All right. Getting back to this here article, it says opioid mortality rates changes were considerably understated in Pennsylvania, Indiana, New Jersey, and Arizona, says a study author Dr. Christopher Rum, health economics at the University of Virginia. Top U.S. officials have consistently raised the alarm about the addiction crisis in the U.S., but a solution is yet to be found. There ain't no solution, you know? Really, the only solution is to try to figure out what the hell these niggas is bugging out about, all right? Once you figure out what these niggas is really bugging out about, really, their eyes are slowly being open and they seeing they goddamn future coming, all right? They seeing that karma coming back around on their ass. They starting to wake up to like, wait a minute, hold on, time out, wait a minute. You know, we took so-called niggas in the slavery and we genocided the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans. Man, our future ain't gonna be so good. We going around bombing the whole, they waking up to shit like that. Man, I've only been a criminal, a pedophile, a cuck, and a goddamn homosexual my whole life. I can't handle this. All right. You got fucking billionaires and shit, top CEOs jumping off the top of buildings and shit. You wonder why, like, they can't handle it, you know? They lose $1 million, not billionaires, you know, lose $1 million and then they go commit suicide, you know, whatever, whatnot, you know, and they can't handle that. But at the same time, or they wind up getting so-called Me Too, these so-called powerful white people having sex with all these people on a casting couch to get them so-called put on, you know. They can't handle all that negative light and that negative publicity, more or less to say, you know. They can't handle that pressure. But what? You see Jake, who grew up in the hood or become famous or whatever, whatnot, talk about how they was molested and shit as a child. You know, they're like, yeah, I mean, some fucked up shit happened to me. I didn't molest nobody. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going around having my own little sex ring and was, you know, perpetrating on, you know, basically what they doing with their casting couch type of shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do no shit like that, but I was a victim of molestation type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And you see Jake, you know, they'll openly talk about that shit, you know? They'll be like, yeah, this was something I had to overcome. You know, my little cousin or my older cousin or my uncle or my older brother or somebody touched me, my dad touched me or some shit like that. They'll openly tell you about that and be, you know, it might hurt them or whatever, but they'll be, how do I say, strong enough to actually talk about that. They talk about the things that really hurt them in their life and shit like that, you know? But Esau can't even face the shit that he's openly doing. Not that you a victim of, but you the perpetrator in act thereof, you know? But it says, but they have not yet found a solution. Like I said, they ain't not gonna find a solution because they try to get to the source. They're gonna figure out that they did all this wicked ass shit. And then once they come to realization of what, you know, these prophecies coming to pass, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, really it's just best for them to just, like the scriptures say, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, you know? Like, you know, basically your last little time, hey man, live it up while you at it, you know? Don't even worry about this shit because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna wind up being like these niggas. Going on all these drugs and shit, being depressed, man, you might as well just live it up because there's nothing you can do. All your crying and sobbing and feeling sorry, and none of that shit gonna work. So you might as well just ignore the shit that's going on and just turn the fuck up, you know? It says on Tuesday, that's the only solution that you can have is don't worry about this shit and just turn the fuck up. Speaking to you Edomites, the so-called white man, all right? It says on Tuesday, U.S. President Donald Trump held a meeting with top members of his administration, including Human Service Secretary Tom Price on ways to combat this absolutely terrible epidemic. Also, now all of a sudden, it's an absolutely terrible epidemic, you know? But just beforehand, you know, the people like Donald Trump or Donald Trump and people like him, you know, they would always say certain things about certain groups of people, how, well, these are just shitty people. All they want to do is do drugs and, you know, the type of people who break into your house to steal something so they can pawn it to go do some drugs. You know, they're always talking about Jake in the back, you know, hinting on that it's Jake, you know, but it's never really Jake, you know. Well, back then, you know, Jake was doing some shit. I ain't even trying to lie on Jake, but Jake was, you know, doing some stupid shit. But now all of a sudden, you know, it's such a horrible thing and all these people are victims of this. They victims of what? They victims of Esau pushing drugs on Edomites. All right. That's all you a victim of. And really, all right, what you gonna do? What you gonna be mad about it? You gonna try to bring justice to the people who was victims? How you gonna do that? You gonna kill yourself? You see what I'm saying? Like, you the problem, all right? And you're the problem and the cause of the problem, all right? It says, strong law enforcement is absolutely vital to having a drug-free society, Trump said. First of all, you're not going to have a drug-free society ever. All right. Why do you even have drugs in society? Think about it. I mean, we know that one of the underlying facts is that, the so-called white man is pushing these things out. He's the one creating all these things. We understand that, but let's just look at this at a pure carnal state. All right. Why do you have drugs in any country? You know what I'm saying? Why? I mean, you can have the drugs in the country, but why are people buying drugs in the country? All right. It's because people are bugged the fuck out. Not saying that they just bugged out like they on drugs already. They stressed the fuck out. That's a better word to say. They stressed out over all kind of different shit, You got all kind of different propaganda that's aimed at these people, telling them all kind of shit. You too fat, you too skinny, you too rich, you too poor, you too this, you too that, And then they actually catching hell left and right, like the tribes are. But nevertheless, these Edomites feel like they catching hell over some dumb shit. Man, I only made $30 million this year. And when I should have made, 32 billion or 32 million, I'm gonna go commit suicide, or I'm strung the fuck out. I got a drinking problem. Or, I done bought me a wife, because I just had the money. You know what I'm saying? I bought me a wife because I was stunting. I wanted me a trophy piece, but the bitch don't love me, so I'm gonna commit suicide. Like, well, nigga, you knew what you was into. Your money don't buy happiness. All right. Just look at all these celebrities, look at all these rappers, in order to get into any of that type of entertainment, man, you have to get on the casting couch. No way around it. All right. Just like a gang, just like any of that other shit, man. They have hazing to get into all of that shit. You want to get on the football team, the band and shit like that, they haze you to get in that. Fraternities, sororities, you get hazed to get into that. You want to get into a street gang, they call it something different than hazing. They call it getting jumped in. Or you were born into the gang. Your parents was active gang members and you just growing up in that gang household. One of those ways is how you get in. So either you was born in this, like, well, you a child of a Rothschild, so you gonna be in this. Or you have to so-called, do something to basically get put on. Now, when it comes to entertainment, the majority of the time it's just the casting couch, You got to do some homosexual ass shit or some bestiality type of shit. All right, some kind of wicked and defiled ass shit on video so they can have you to be blackmailed. All right, to make sure you keep their secrets, And when you get higher up to be able to do any other thing, they give you a different route sometimes. It's either you do some casting couch shit, either some homosexual shit, or you do what they call like a blood sacrifice, all right? But nevertheless, these celebrities, they so down and down and depressed and so tired of being broke, they'll do anything for $1 million of this contract, Just like what Lucifer tried to give, like Satan and the scriptures tried Yahushua with. It's like, look, I took him up to this high mountain. All these kingdoms of the world are mine. I'll give them all to you if you but just bow down to me. All right. So what's in all the kingdoms? Like, the greatness, the wealth and riches of all these kingdoms, I'll give to you. Same with Esau saying today. He's like, look, bro, I give you all the money, the cars and the clothes and the hoes. Give you all that shit if you just bow down to him. Do what he tell you to do. Push his agenda. All right. Now, when these celebrities, they all blinded by all that extra shit, the money, the cars, clothes, the fame and all that when they first come in. But once they realize what the hell they had to do to get there and they start looking in the mirror, that's when they start doing all the drugs and become depressed and all that stuff. All right. So same with Esau. Once he starts figuring out what the hell he did, he come to terms with that shit and he can't handle it. All right. It says, strong law enforcement is absolutely vital to having a drug-free society. All right. And like I said, you're not going to have a drug-free society as long as you have all this so-called oppression going on, all this wickedness going on, all this so-called, I don't know how I want to say this, media warfare, more or less to say, how they aiming at the minds of the people, destroying the people from the inside out. All these different things. You're not going to have no, a drug-free society with all these different things going on. All right. You want to get rid of drugs. Fuck it. You don't have to get rid of the drugs. All right. So let's think about this. In the kingdom of heaven, right? We're going to all be righteous. Everything going to be in peace, right? We ain't going to learn war no more. Ain't nobody going to be doing no crazy shit like that no more, right? Now, hypothetically, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say in the kingdom of heaven, when we in that time, there'll still be drugs there. You'll still have crack, cocaine, heroin, and so on and so forth. Let's just say somebody's producing it. But if everybody's already in that happy feeling, already feeling good about shit, why the hell you want to, why would you want to do some drugs that have so-called side effects, you know, that you don't normally like all the time? All right, if you already feeling like you on cloud nine, what the hell are you trying to escape from? People are using these drugs to escape from reality. All right, but if you was, again, like I'm saying, if you in the kingdom of heaven and everything is good, you don't want for nothing, you're not trying to escape from that. You already in paradise. All right. It says, now this is where he's trying to try to slide Jake off in here, try to push this on Jake. It says, we're also very tough on the southern border where much of this comes in. All right, on the southern border where much of this comes in. What are we talking about here? We talking about drugs? You see what I'm saying? No, we're not talking about drugs, man. Because really, a drug could be anything. You know, I think the definition of a drug is something that basically changes your body in some kind of sense or way, no matter what it does to you. And I'm like, all right, well, in such a broad definition, if I'm thirsty, all right, or dehydrated and I drink water and it hydrates me, it's changing the state of my being. All right. Or, you know, if I'm hungry and I eat and I become full, you know, that could be a drug, so on and so forth, you know. But nevertheless, it says we're also very tough on the southern border where much of this comes in. All right. Again, what are we talking about? We're talking about prescription drugs. All right. Like you see here in the picture, these pills and stuff. All right. And I already broke down to you where how they make this shit. You know, these pills is a form of, it's like synthetic heroin made from from opium, which comes from the poppy plants, which come from the poppy fields in Afghanistan. All right. Afghanistan is in like what they call like, more or less, like they call it Asia, more or less, but most people would think of it in like the Middle East type of shit, you know, one of those Arab countries over there. But nevertheless, that's on the other side of the globe. That's not on our southern border. All right, they're not bringing pills up through the south. All right, now they bring cocaine up through the south because they still get the cocaine from where? Colombia. They just use a different shipping route. They use the cartels through Mexico to bring the cocaine up. All right, that's different. All right. We're not talking about a cocaine epidemic here. We're talking about prescription drug epidemic. So why are you talking about this coming through the southern border? Only two things come through the southern border. You have, now, let me correct that. All right, because now I'm not 100% sure about that. But more or less, you know what I'm saying? Predominantly, the two major drugs that come through the southern border is, what do you call it? Cocaine, which comes from Colombia. All right, you just have to look at the route where it comes from. All right. And they just bring it on up through the border. And marijuana, weed. All right. They also grow weed in Mexico. And I don't really think that they really bringing weed over like that no more now that you have these states growing their own weed here, you know, and it's like chemically made, you know, by the government, you know, which ain't the same shit as what they was bringing from Mexico, you know. But nevertheless, you know, those are the two main drugs that will be coming from Mexico. All right. And these aren't the drugs that we're talking about. Neither one of these drugs are prescription grade. Well, nowadays they got prescription weed, but that's not what they're talking about. Again, the prescription weed they got is just being sold basically by the government or under the government supervision. We talking about opioids, all right, which come from, again, through Afghanistan, via Afghanistan, all right? So don't try to push this on Jake or try to put this in Jake like they try to do everything but make it seem like this is goddamn Edomites, so-called white man. All right. If you were just reading this, just, you know, without that little statement in there, you would already know Jake ain't got shit to do with this, you know, just like whenever you hear a news headline story like another mass shooting at elementary school, you be like, yep, Jake ain't have shit to do with that. All right. It says, however, the best way to solve the problem, according to the president, is to prevent people from taking the drugs in the first place. If they don't start, they won't have a problem. If they do start, it's awful tough to get them off. If we can keep them from going on, and maybe by talking to the youth and telling them no good, really bad for you in every way. Slakia. But nevertheless, you know, homeboy is basically saying it's talking to the youth, telling the youth to so-called get off of their drugs, you know, stop doing these types of things. But again, look at this hypocritical way, man. When this was happening to Jake, you know what I'm saying? We didn't quite have it as bad back then when we was going through the, I guess the heroin epidemic. I don't even know if it was an actual epidemic amongst Jake doing that, but I know that like Frank Lucas and them was selling heroin. All right. But then the crack epidemic, you know, crack and the cocaine shit that popped off and hit Jake real hard, you know. At those points of times, you didn't have so-called rappers and shit rapping about no shit like that. You know, they wasn't rapping talking about, Molly Percocets and lean and all kind of shit, all kind of innuendos that just make you want to do all kind of shit, Gucci Mane, all he talk about is crack and cocaine, and when you hear that nigga shit, make you want to go in the kitchen and start cooking up some bricks, all white bricks, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit you be thinking about doing from listening to this shit, all right? But nevertheless, the hypocrisy of this, Trump is saying, look, we need to go out and talk to the youth and tell them, to be a positive idol to them, more or less to say. But after the fact that we went through our the heroin deal, enter the crack deal, you start pushing with your record companies, your record labels, and your radio stations, these hip-hop artists and rap artists talk about drug dealing, killing, and all kind of shit like that, You wasn't telling Jake to stop with all that, promoting that type of lifestyle and shit like that, so it would curve this mortality rate of these young kids being born as crack babies and being strung out and the families being destroyed by that. You didn't say nothing like that, all right? You kept promoting and giving out big record deals to people who wanted to basically sell out and talk about shit like that, It says, and this is how you know that these Edomites is secretly trembling, They doing all this stuff like it wasn't a problem back then, but now it's a problem when it's happening to your people. Why you feel threatened, all right? It says last week Trump appointed commission on combating the drug addiction crisis in America, called the president to declare a national emergency. All right, so this is a damn national emergency. Like, the whole U.S. need to tackle this here problem. This is something we need to bring to its attention. You didn't want to enact these types of things. Well, I guess they did with the war on drugs, but that was completely different. Like I said in the other video, back then you was rolling through Jake's neighborhoods with your damn tanks and shit, bulldozing their houses and all kind of crazy shit to turn up the neighborhoods and the families and so on and so forth. When again it was your people who was bringing in cocaine, because again Jake really, especially in the hood, don't speak no damn Spanish to go get no Colombian connect. They leave the country with a passport to bring the shit in. We didn't have no shit like that, nor the drugs or the guns. All right, but Esau brought all that in, was promoting it. But now all of a sudden it's a problem. All right, when it's these Edomites. All right, and you want to declare a national emergency, why don't you start rolling through their damn neighborhoods and their nice neighborhoods and bulldozing their houses and stopping and searching, all these damn Edomite kids just walking around in their suburbs, Why don't you stop and frisk all these motherfuckers, because they more than likely to have some damn pills on them, you can't smell these pills, And really, I would say there's really no visual effect to people when they on pills, but they look like goddamn zombies and be drooling from their fucking mouth. All right. But nevertheless, these drugs are, how do I say, really a lot more deadly than 1,000 times more deadly. I still ain't found a case of somebody dying over no weed or nothing like that. But motherfuckers is dying. We looking at an epidemic here. Families being destroyed over shit like this, Only time I done heard about people's families being destroyed over weed is like, okay, my daddy was a drug dealer and the feds kicked in the door and took him to jail and put us in the foster home and shit like that, so on and so forth, But you ain't never really heard of nobody going to the pawn shop, all right, and pawning some shit in for some weed, man. And got the baby formula, they forgot the baby formula so they can go smoke some weed. You see what I'm saying? It don't happen like that. It happened off these strong drugs, the actual drugs that Esau's creating and shit, all right? It says, here's the grim reality the commission wrote in the letter to Trump. Americans consume more opioids than any other country in the world. In fact, 2015, the amount of opioids prescribed in the U.S. was enough for every American to be medicated around the clock for 3 weeks. All right? There's a lot being said in this here statement. It says, Americans consume more opioids than any other country in the world. All right. So first of all, you got more basically heroin addicts and junkies here in America than any place else in the world. You got more. And now that's just talking about heroin addicts. All right. I think an Edomite is getting judgment. Oh yeah, somebody is catching judgment. Hold on, Salakia. Speaking of which, call halal Yahweh Shemi Yahushua. One of these Edomite bitches is catching judgment. Listen. This Edomite bitch is getting her ass beat. Call halal Yahweh Shemi Yahushua. That's the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shemi Yahushua. This Edomite bitch is getting her ass drug over here. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Lord willing, you was able to hear this Edomite bitch screaming. She is getting her ass beat by these dudes over here. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They was probably doing a fucking drug deal. You see? You see? Listen. Stop hitting me. Yep. And see, there's a homeless Jake that live in his car that's parked right beside where this shit's going on at, right? I'm over at this Salakia. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's the spirit right there, boy. I wonder if I can see this bitch. There's a bush in between me and them, though. Oh, yeah, I can see him. Listen. Oh, they about to bring their ass. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So what seemed to have happened was, so I'm parked here at this like bridge, at this marina type of shit where people can like walk on this bridge, fish off the little shit, you know, whatever, whatnot. You know, this park is open 24 hours a day, you know, but there's a Jake that lives in, he damn near homeless because this Jake is here every damn night, you know, he sleep in his car, but he was parked where he's normally parked at every night. And a car rolled up. I think a car rolled up or something. And it was like right beside him. But there was another dude on a bike. But there was this Edomite chick screaming and shit, talking about, stop, please stop hitting me, and so on and so forth. Lord willing, you could hear it on the damn video. I just had to roll the window down for that. See, this is the shit we talking about. They can't take the shit that they going through. Humble girls out here screaming, getting their ass beat. Ain't nobody coming for you. Nobody feels no pity for you, man. All the shit that was going on to us and y'all didn't give a fuck about that, man. You still separating our children right now in the Northern Kingdom, man. You doing all kind of fuck shit to our people right now. I just brought out in another article about a bomb being dropped every 12 minutes around the world from these fucking Edomites and ain't nobody saying nothing about it. You think I'm finna sit over there and try to, hey man, stop beating that Edomite? No, this is the Lord's judgment on these goddamn Edomites. Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Like the elder apostle Tahar said, man, this is the year of prophecy, man. Death and destruction is coming to all you fucking Edomites, man. This is just the beginning of this shit, man. And you women that's out there listening to this shit, man, hey, y'all gonna be screaming like that in that day, and then what you gonna see? People around you, close by you, like they was literally right beside the homeless Jake's car. I never seen this Jake move his car. I didn't even think the shit worked the way the car looked. It was literally all busted down and like doors and shit falling all off the shit, and it's all like taped up and shit, like not even exaggerating. That's how fucked up this nigga's car is. He just sleep in the car every damn night, right? But nevertheless, I didn't know the car ran. Homeboy crunk his car up, was like, yo, bitch, you disturbing my sleep, and left. They was right beside his car homegirls getting drugged. That shit was funny. Salakia Akim, but hey, man, like I'm going into these lessons, man. Judgment is coming down on these damn Edomites, man. Whenever you would have heard an Edomite bitch scream like that, man, it would have been a SWAT team over here, man, putting a nigga to death, man. Like Emmett Till. Off of a so-called white woman lying on him, that young man was brutally beaten and shit like that, you know? All kind of crazy shit happened to him, you know? And this is the damn judgment coming back on here. And she didn't sound like I didn't get to see what she looked like, but she didn't sound like a goddamn, like no fat, busted, you know, Edomite like that, you know what I'm saying? She sounded like one of those ditzy, cute little ass Edomite type of shits, you know? Call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Lord willing, man, this is an everyday occurrence, man. Hey, man, that shit just turned my spirit all the way up, man. We reading an article about these niggas can't take it. They ain't strong enough to take none of the stress they got going on, man. You see what I'm saying, man? Hey, man, look at the stress we going through as the men of the Lord, man. We know that Esau trying to kill us, man. We know he trying to deem us terrorists and had a whole world, the entire world, come down upon us, man. We understand that already, man. We know that 2/3 of our people hate us. Our own family hate us. The rest of these nations hate us. The Edomites and these heathen hate us. We know the whole world fucking hate us for the Lord's name's sake. Thus saith the scripture. All right. And we know we still got to go through and we know that we in captivity up under these Edomites and they the wicked and shit. And we going to be ruling over them soon. But we still got to be patient and be up under these damn Edomites, man. Hey, man. And we enduring into the end, man. Holding fast what we got, you know. Having faith, man. Enduring in faith, man. Man, that's the difference between us and them goddamn Edomites. Proof, that's through the spirit, man. Call halal Yahweh Shimi Awashah. I can't say that enough, man. I just was quoting that about how one nation gonna be stronger than the other nation, man. Call halal Yahweh Shimi Awashah to that Edomite bitch just caught that judgment over there. And she caught it in the midst of Israel, man. And that's what we bringing out. This is the beginning of the downfall of your enemy in your sight, man. Blessed is the man who was able to witness the downfall of his enemies, man. Call halal Yahweh Shimi Awashah, man. I'm gonna keep pushing that point, man. That was some beautiful shit, man. That's some beautiful shit, man. I'm mad about how all these women get all these freebies in the world and be shitting on men all goddamn day long, doing whatever the fuck they want, feel like they privileged because they got a goddamn, I don't know why the fuck they feel like they privileged nowadays. I couldn't even tell you, you know what I'm saying? But whatever. They think they on such a pedestal. Hey, man, she that is my enemy in that day, man. Hey, man, today is that day where we starting out, baby. Hey, man, we had a fresh start, man. Hey, man, the sound of the trumpet, a fresh fucking Edomite bitch goddamn catching judgment right here in the parking lot, right here on camera and shit, man. And you know, another beautiful thing is the police just rode through this bitch twice, right before this Edomite bitch caught judgment, and she didn't even, hey, man, ain't no police, hey, in that day, man, in that day, call halal Yahweh Shimi Awashah, man. Hey, any women out there that's listening, that's scoffing and laughing, or on the fence, don't want to get in line and get up under a man of the Lord, hey, man, you just heard, Lord willing, you just heard the tone of this bitch's voice screaming with nobody around. She was screaming to the top of her lungs, but there was people around to hear, but ain't nobody gave a fuck, man. Nobody gave a fuck. And in fact, it was like, bitch, you disturbing my sleep, Nick. Bitch, I'm leaving. You get your ass, but I don't give a fuck about that, and I ain't calling the police. And the police just left from over here. Call halal Yahweh Shimi Awashah. Back to the scriptures, man. Hey, that's beautiful, though. Beautiful. But it says Americans consume more opioids than any other country in the world. In fact, in 2015, the amount of opioids prescribed in the U.S. was enough for every American to be medicated around the clock for 3 weeks. So, hey, man, the amount of drugs that y'all Edomites was taking over here in America was enough for the whole U.S. population to be fucked up on these damn drugs for 3 weeks straight, 24 hours a day, man. Just a big-ass party at 3 weeks straight. Man, and think about that. If you was balling like, bro, I got enough money and drugs to have the whole U.S. fucked up for 3 weeks straight. You see what I'm saying? That's the type of shit they rolling with. But really, they say Americans consume more opioids than any other country in the world. When, in fact, it's really Americans consume the majority of the drugs on the planet Earth. All right? The majority of the drugs on the planet Earth is all being sold here in America. All right? It says Arizona, Florida, where we at, Maryland have already declared a state of emergency in response to the national epidemic. Congress approved nearly $1 billion last year to fund a response to the crisis as part of the 21st Century Cures of 2016. A similar amount is expected to be approved next year. Trump wanted Congress to allocate $45 billion to opioid addiction treatment as part of the health care bill that would replace the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, but the replacement proposal failed in Congress. Hey, we would have healed Babylon, but Babylon ain't healed. All right? So take bomb for her. Hey, this bitch is out, man. Hey, man, I'm already turned up in the spirit, man. I just heard that judgment. Call halal Yahweh Shimi Awashah. Hey, but what we reading, man, that's what this is why I'm pushing out these here articles, man. This is why it's so heavy that these articles come out, so you understand the times and the times that we in. I'm not bringing you out this article for you to feel bad about these goddamn Edomites catching this judgment, man. Fuck them, man. That's not the important part. The important part is that the Most High is working, baby. The Most High is bringing that deliverance, baby, to the nation of Israel, man. To the ones that standing firm in this, man. And look how, bro, we getting a small taste of it, man. I can't even imagine. I have to reevaluate after reading these articles. I had to reevaluate, like, what I believe how the Most High is going to deliver us. You know, I understand the blueprint of what's going on and everything like that, but it's like not really crossing my mind. Like, I know that the Most High going to do everything. You know, we not fighting Esau with our own strength. No, the Most High going to give us spiritual powers. He going to turn us up with his anger and his strength and his power. And we going to execute judgment on the heathen. Yeah, I understand that, but like, there's a point I didn't understand that the Most High was going to start all these things out by him just like spiritually doing this shit to these people off rip, you know? Because who is causing this? It's like, you know, we would say all the drugs that the so-called white man pushed in our neighborhood, but now look, the biggest drug epidemic, the most highest death toll due to drugs is being pushed on who? The Edomites now. By whom? The Edomites now. All right? Who is catching all this hell now? Edomites, man. They the new niggas now, man. Hey, and it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful how the whole world is just turning around and is being turned right side up, man. Call halal Yahweh Shimi Awashah, man. Hey, this is such a beautiful thing, man. We almost out of here, man. Hey, but it's also turning up on us, man. Like, I can attest for this, like, in the spirit, man. It's getting harder and harder every damn day. But things like this are these little, hey, man, it peeks into the heavens, man. Rejoice. Rejoice when you see stuff like that. The Most High will drop off a little nugget like that for you, man. It's just the spirit to be able to spiritually discern. I'm bringing out an article about the downfall of these Edomites and how weak these motherfuckers are and can't take it. And lo and behold, right beside me, I can hear the cries and the screams of a fucking helpless Edomite catching judgment over there, man. Call Halal Yahweh Shim Al Shai. There was nobody around to try to save this motherfucker, man. Ain't nobody gonna, how does the scripture say? I can't even roughly paraphrase it. I'm too excited right now. Where it says, none of them gonna lament her, or none of them, basically ain't nobody gonna, basically, like, what does that scripture say? It's like, ask and see who the wicked, ask the people and they'll tell you, you know what I'm saying? And when you get your downfall, nobody gonna try to help your ass out. You know, ain't nobody gonna try to catch your ass from falling. Who the fuck is dumb enough to do that? Like, who the fuck is dumb enough to try to catch falling lava? No, they can let that shit fall. You know what I'm saying? Call Halal Yahweh Shim Al Shai one more time for that judgment, man. That was beautiful. All right, back into the scripture. It says, treatment is important. Treatment is not enough. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said last week in Ohio, where he announced that a dozen federal prosecutors would be sent to cities ravaged by the opioid epidemic to investigate the healthcare fraud and opioid scams. Let me go back up to the top, because what I want to get at right here was Trump wanted to propose this here bill to help out. But hey, like the scripture say, we would have healed Babylon, but Babylon is not healed, you know? Ain't no coming back for these Edomites, man. All y'all need to get on these damn drugs and turn the fuck up, because you ain't gonna be able to handle the reality of what's coming. All right. Prosecutors will be funded by the Justice Department for 3 years. Will work to root out pill mills and track down doctors and other healthcare providers who illegally prescribe or distribute narcotics such as fentanyl or other powerful painkillers, Sessions says. So I guess fentanyl is a painkiller. All right. I mean, I read that in another article. Didn't quite know what the hell niggas was using that for. Nevertheless, it says they will be based in U.S. Attorney's office in Alabama, California, Florida, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, Nevada, North Carolina. All right. Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and West Virginia. All right. None of these places. I mean, now you have California where they talk about, you know, Cali, LA and shit like that. But none of these states is predominantly known, you know, and the limelight for being so-called capitals for Jake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, sometimes just in passing and stuff like that, people be like, oh, New York, oh, it ain't nothing but a bunch of so-called black people there. Atlanta, it ain't nothing but a bunch of black people there. You know who out there, you know what I'm saying? When you talking about places like Maryland, Michigan, Kentucky, and you know what I'm saying, Alabama, you predominantly think about Edomites out there, all right? Now, we know that Jake do live in these areas as well, but predominantly, who do you think of as the poster child of these places and stuff like that, all right? You make a joke about, oh, y'all backwood Kentucky country-ass folks. You think about them so-called hillbilly-ass, I'm going to call them rednecks, all right? That tell you the name of who these damn red people are, all right? These Edomites. It says, Ohio is one of the states hit hardest by the opioid crisis, with 8 people dying of accidental overdose every day. All right. You catching that judgment, man. Ohio holding Big Pharma accountable over unprecedented addiction rates. Yeah, right. Who is in control of Big Pharma? These Edomites, way more powerful Edomites than you low level peons in government at the local level. All right. Y'all ain't getting away with this shit, man. Says joining Sessions for announcement last Wednesday was Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine, who's leading lawsuit against 5 drug manufacturers, accusing them of intentionally misleading patients about the dangers of painkillers and claiming drug benefits not backed by science. So it was blatant. Like, they didn't create this shit to help nobody. They knew what the fuck they was doing. That's why they had to lie about it. All right. They knew what the hell they was doing with this, but it backfired on their ass. You know, like the script say, you're going to basically be caught in your own snare, your own trap, man. It says drug companies have created the deadly mess in Ohio, and now they need to pay to clean them up. All right, but they wasn't saying that when the so-called crack was hitting in the so-called in the Israelite neighborhoods, or with gang violence and stuff like that. You know, you weren't talking about the gun manufacturers and the people who was bringing guns in, because they don't sell M16s in niggas' neighborhoods. They don't sell Uzis in niggas' neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a Jake. I grew up in a Jake neighborhood as a child. I ain't never seen no store that sold no Uzis, no AKs, no M16s, no shit with extendos, none of that shit, you know? Well, where the fuck is they getting it from, you know? Just like anything else in the hood, they actually just drop this shit off. off, you know? When you see Jake and they be like, oh, bro, this how Jake would tell you they did it. They like, oh, bro, we just hit a lick. We popped up in one of them trains and this is what we found in there. Or we popped up in a truck. We hit one of them trucks, you know, that was over at the docks or over at one of them warehouses, and this is what we found, you know, not knowing that one of these dumbass Jakes actually was tied together with some kind of insider or something who set him up, that he was so-called stumble across this shit, so he knew what would happen with it, all right? But nevertheless, again, Esau wasn't going against the gun manufacturers back in these days, or the people who came. So with cocaine, you know, I did a little bit of research on that, you know, and found out that it is physically impossible to be able to manufacture cocaine. Now, you can manufacture cocaine on a small level. Like if you just want to do some cocaine for you and yourself today, right here, right now, you can make some shit for yourself. However, it's not efficient at all because you'd have to raise up the plant for such a long time just to get enough of it out of it just to use that one little time. You'd be waiting for so fucking long for the plant to grow. It wouldn't be efficient, you know? Likewise, it's not really efficient for you. You'd have to make it in such a large quantity. You have to do it on a large scale, all right, for you to be able to make some kind of money and profit off of it, all right? And so really, it's impossible to make this on such a large scale without big oil companies to play a part, all right? In order to be able to, I think, manufacture or cut, in the manufacturing process of cocaine, they need a byproduct that you get from basically these oil companies, all right? I think it's called ethanol or ether or some shit like that. One of them, whatever. It comes from an oil company, like oil companies, people who deal with oil, refining oil. In the oil refining process, they have some shit that you need to be able to cut the cocaine with, to be able to process the cocaine with, all right? So in order to do this shit on such a large level, all right, if you have to, if you're trying to produce this cocaine on such a large level to be able to bring in, like, you know what I'm saying? When they talk about semi trucks full of cocaine, kilos of cocaine, like, nigga, that's the shit they trying to get y'all to catch, you know? Like, I remember years back here in Florida, you know, the damn government and shit, they was all happy, you know, they had it in the newspaper, like, damn, man, a big ass big cargo ship came in the port of Tampa, you know, and there was just a bunch of cocaine just piled up on top of it, you know, it was just packaged and everything, and it just rolled in and we found it, you know, with so many tons of cocaine, you know, and I was like, you dumbass niggas, y'all shouldn't have touched that shit because that was the bait. You know, you talking about how many tons and tons of cocaine was on this ship that wasn't covered up, like you could see it with binoculars, like, nigga, there's a ship with just cocaine on it. You know, just sitting up there perfectly packaged like you shipping it, but there's nobody on the boat, you know, and it's just floating in. Like, nigga, ain't nobody gonna just that boat didn't just float over here by itself. You know what I'm saying? Right on course. And now ain't nobody on the boat, especially with all that cocaine on it, bruh. Like, whatever. But nevertheless, you know, that's the little bait deal. And then the big shit come in after that, you know? So when they talk about these, big ass shipments, that's just the bait shit that they putting on the, TV so they can so-called upkeep this so-called war on drugs. Really, they're in cahoots with this shit. They the ones moving all this shit. You can't move a fucking semi-truck. Like I said, that's a small scale shit. That's debate. But nevertheless, you can't move a semi-truck full of cocaine across the goddamn border with scanners and shit, bro. You can't. It's not possible. All right? Now, when you see on the TV shows, when they be showing you how they be catching the shit, what this, and that, like, bro, that's not efficient for them to be moving no cocaine like that in no goddamn bumpers and no cars and no shit like that. That's not efficient. The Mexicans walking through the field, through the borders, crossing with the weed on their back. That's not efficient for them. That's not what the fuck they shipping. They doing that shit for TV. All right, for you to see on TV. These motherfuckers is moving like actual logistic company full of semi-truck fleets of these shits over all daily. Huge cargo shipping ships full of this shit daily. They have underground tunnels where they drive this shit daily. All right, you ain't just getting across the border without nobody seeing no shit like this, man. You can't get through the damn airport with like some residual marijuana on your fingers. You ain't getting across the goddamn border with no semi-truck full of cocaine without them knowing about it, all right? They know about this, they coordinate this. Like I said, they know about this all the way around. You need the big oil industries to be a part of the manufacturing of cocaine, all right? So you can blame this on the Colombians, but the Colombians don't really own no big oil refinery or no big petroleum companies or no shit like ExxonMobil, Amoco, all that shit. They don't own none of that shit, all right? It's the Edomites that own up all of that shit, all right? And they own the patents to all this shit that they need to cut all of this with, all right? And they you know, in Colombia and stuff, those big ass fields owned and shit, like by the so-called people out there, you know, even under the watching eye of the government, The government know about all this shit. When you really do some research on Escobar, that'll break down the whole story about how they bring this shit in. Escobar, the day they killed Escobar, the reason he became most wanted and shit like that was because Escobar had a deal with them, right? They was like, look, we'll allow you to bring all the shit in you want to bring in. We just gonna tax your ass, all right? Every once in a while, we gonna bust you, or we gonna bust one of your shipments and say we did this and that to satisfy the people on the newspaper and the media, so it seem like we doing our job, you know, whatever, whatnot. We'll just bring it right back on the streets, you know, whatever. But basically, off of all the shit, all your shipments, we want a piece of it, you know? We're gonna get some money here. We're gonna get some money when we lock these people up. We get money all the way around. That's a big industry, you know? Crime is a big industry for Esau. If everybody just stopped doing crime, you wouldn't have no more lawyers, no more judges, no more prison guards, no more prisons, none of that shit, you know? You wouldn't have none of those systems going. You wouldn't be making no more money off of that. Same with the damn drug industry, you know? You need the oil industry to be able to produce this shit, all right? And then you need the damn governments of these countries to be okay with you being able to have these big ass fields to produce the shit, all right? Then you need some kind of logistics and security or logistics to be able to ship all this shit with a shipping company. Then you need border security to be able to get through the border with the shit, you know, let alone with your national NSA and the CIA and the FBI watching the country for terrorists and terrorist shit like that. They see all of that shit. So you don't think they see cocaines and so-called untechnologically advanced so-called Mexicans, dumbass Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? They don't got the, you see what I'm saying? They just not capable of doing this shit without Esau having his hand in it, all right? But it says, the drug companies have created the deadly mess in Ohio, and now they need to pay to clean it up, DeWan said in May when filing a lawsuit. A growing number of states and local governments are suing the drug makers and distributors, seeking to hold them accountable for the opioid crisis. And like I just broke down, man, you have to go to the top with Esau with all of this, you know, because Esau is the one bringing all this death and destruction out, all right? Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you got to be a witness to some judgment happening, you know? The beginning of all this, that's how the spirit was, you know? It's lucky for the timing and all this, but hey, the spirit had it to just go on so you be able to catch that judgment, you know? Lord willing, like I said, this here lesson was edifying. Until next time, I say, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki. I'm pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. Hey, stay strong. We almost out of here. Shalom.